Welcome to MarcusG.tv. I'm Chef Marcus Giuliano, and Jamie joins me today.
Hello.
Hi, honey.
Hi.
Let's see. What's today's mission? What's today's question?
So, Marcus, you read a lot, you watch a lot of videos, you study a lot of doctors, you study a lot of diets, you study a lot. What is your favorite, or what do you recommend that people watch, listen to?
As far as following diet advice?
Yes.
So we run across a lot of people who actually say to us, you guys look great, or you guys cook great food.
What are you doing?
What are you doing? What do you do at your restaurant? What do you do in your personal life? What can I do to take the first step? We get a lot of that. Every week people say, what can I do to make a difference in my diet?
I think the most important thing is, what do we do in our first step? Because people don't know how to begin.
I met with somebody the other day, and it's like you can't overwhelm people. So here's what I tell people when I first see them, because people want the easiest diet possible.
Well, they want the quick fix, something that's going to fix them immediately.
Right. They want ease. So here's what I tell people. Get rid of the bad salt in your house. Get rid of cooking oil. Try to cook things without any cooking oil whatsoever. I don't care if it's olive oil, coconut oil. I don't care what type of oil you have. Extracted refined oil is not good for you. Most of it's rancid. When you heat it up, it definitely becomes rancid. It's not in its natural form. Sure, nuts are one thing for fat. Avocado is one thing for fat. But putting, 3 tablespoons of oil in a pan and cooking, get your food absorbed into it, fried food, stuff like that, is not natural. It's not in its whole form. Get rid of that. So salt, fat, add more raw fruits and veggies, drink more water. Those 5 things right there will drastically improve your health, okay? Then you can get nitpicky and say, okay, let's get rid of, next, refined sugar, white flour, white pasta, white bread, the starchy potatoes that they make French fries out of. Stick to the smaller potatoes that have more fiber, more nutrition, more skin. So you can keep just looking down at the ingredients and going and going and going. Now, when you first started the question, you talked about, all these books I read.
Right.
I read a ton of books. I like Caldwell Esselstyn. I like Joel Fuhrman, and we'll get back to Joel Fuhrman. I like Neil Barnard. I like McDougall. I think McDougall has a great plan. He has called the Starch Solution, where he promotes eating starches, a high starch diet, a high carbohydrate diet. Gary Null has a lot of really good nutrition books out there. Douglas Graham, the 80-10-10, which is a vegan. These are all vegan diets, by the way. These are all vegetarian, no all plant-based diets. He has the strictest diet, which is all raw, very high fruit, high carbohydrate diet. Dean Ornish has a great diet. So all these Dr. Greger, Dr. Clapper, they all have these phenomenal plant-based diets. Now, I like Fuhrman's. I like them. I like all their plans. I take bits and pieces of all of them, which is why I read them all. I think for me, the one most beneficial one is Dr. Fuhrman. He has what he calls his G-bombs. G-bombs stand for greens, beans, onions, mushrooms, and berries. G-bombs. He says if you eat that, those are the 5 healthiest foods. Load up on that. Greens, beans, onions, mushrooms, and berries. None of the doctors that I've listed have restrict carbohydrates. In fact, it's quite the opposite. They want you to consume a high amount of carbohydrates, keep your protein and keep your fat to a lower level. The American intake of fat is way too high.
And protein.
Protein and fat go hand in hand typically, and it's very high. So when you analyze all those doctors, it's a low-fat, low-protein, high-carbohydrate diet. Now, McDougall is great because he's like, eat all the starch you want, eat all the rice you want, eat all the sweet potatoes you want, eat all the wheat you want, eat all the starches.
Now, Marcus, when you're talking about diet, are you talking about losing weight, or are you talking about diet like the diet that you're eating?
Well,
talk about that a little bit.
Both go hand in hand. Because if you have a proper diet, your body will normalize with weight.
Okay.
Okay, that'll happen. There are rare cases where people, don't.
Well, because I think a lot of people think of, I got to go on a diet because I have to lose weight, rather than going on a diet to change their eating style and eating habits.
There's a lot of diets that you'll lose weight, without a doubt. You can go on the paleo diet. You can restrict all of your carbs and go into ketosis. That will you'll definitely lose weight. But ketosis is as natural as starvation, which is as natural as death. Okay, having ketones in your blood is not, and your urine is not a good thing. So there's a lot of ways to actually lose weight, but let's talk about what I'm talking about, is losing weight healthily.
Right.
Doing it a healthy way, as opposed to going into ketosis, as opposed to starving yourself.
So basically changing your diet, what you eat, to diet.
To normalize the weight.
Right.
A lot of people, will go on a very calorie restrictive diet. Like, look at Weight Watchers. You can still eat pizza on Weight Watchers. Pizza is not a health food.
Right.
All the saturated fat, the white flour, the fat that goes into the pizza dough, the cheese, the little bit of token tomato sauce is the only thing that could even be remotely healthy on the pizza. Only thing that's remotely healthy. And yet you see pizza places with, we had one place here in Ellenville that had pizza as a health food because they listed the tomatoes as having lycopene. Okay, so that's like saying, let's take some poison to get something good. And let's say, all of a sudden, this is a health food. I wish I could go back and get that article and post that, because it's just so hilarious how people misinterpret studies and misinterpret the data, the hard science. They totally misinterpret it and spin it the way that they want it to see. And we used to walk into this pizza place as kids, and they still had it up until a few months ago because they sold. But it said in there, when you walk by the store, pizza as a health food.
Huh.
And, but kids, we used to go there and eat all the time as kids in school, and we used to see that, and we're thinking like, oh, we're going and eating this health food for lunch. We're getting healthy by going to eat pizza. And it's just there's so much data that's just so skewed and so misrepresented and taken into the context. But when you're looking like Caldwell Esselstyn's book, and you look at McDougall's book, there's so much clinical studies in there, so much hard data, so much hard science of what these guys are doing with a plant-based diet. Now back to McDougall, before you ask your question, he says eat all these starches, fill up on corn, fill up on pasta, fill up on potatoes, fill up on rice. And he explains all these cultures, how they've lived for millennia on all these high quality starches and all the energy it provides and this and that. So you look at his diet, and it's like, even my dad the other day said to me, he goes, who's not healthy at all, he says to me, he goes, what's that diet where you can eat all the starch? 'Cause I think I do good on that. Mm-hmm. So I forwarded him the information, and of course I have the books, I have the audios, I watched the YouTube videos, so I sent it to him. But the thing is that you can't, if you switch your diet and you want it to really work, I think the thing you have to do is be diligent about doing it.
Right. Well, of course.
You can't just do it and say, oh well, it's Thanksgiving, or oh well, it's Friday and I deserve my happy hour and my burger, but tomorrow I'll go back. You've got to really every bite you take makes a difference. You need to pick a plan that's going to satisfy you and satiate you.
Right.
Don't pick a plan, whatever diet you do, weight loss program, that you're going to be hungry all the time, you're going to be miserable, you're going to be cranky, and you're going to be constipated. Don't pick any of those plans. Right. Pick a plan where you have the abundant amount of food. So when you do get hungry, you can just eat and eat unlimited calories. The proper foods, the best foods, there's no calorie restriction. There's no diet plan out there saying, well, you only have to limit yourself to, a half a banana because it has too much sugar, too much calories. No, a lot of these diets say eat 5 bananas if you want. Eat the whole watermelon. Eat the whole bowl of rice. Have 2 servings of rice. Eat 3 ears of corn. Have 6 apples. Have, the whole head of cabbage. Make a salad. Eat as much as you want. Eat as much as you want of tomatoes. In summertime, I can't get enough tomatoes. I'll cut 3, 4, 5 tomatoes up.
Right.
And just drizzle them with a little bit of white balsamic vinegar and just eat them bowl after bowl of it. There's no calorie restriction on stuff like that. People don't understand that. Cantaloupe. You've seen me cut up 12 pounds of cantaloupe and eat it throughout the course of the day. There's no calorie restriction on cantaloupe. It's cantaloupe. So get a plan that you're going to be comfortable with. I've listed off a lot of authors: Esselstyn, Dr. Bernard, Dr. Furman, Dr. Clapper, Dr. Geiger. The list goes on and on. Once you start typing those into searches, when you type in Esselstyn, you'll find up other doctors that are like Esselstyn. Dean Ornish. Just type in plant-based health diets. The Engine 2 diet, that cookbook is awesome. And there's lots of people that are on these diets that have lots of success. You go to these doctors' websites and they will show you proven success of people that have lost 100 pounds, 150 pounds.
Well, it's a way of life.
Reversed heart disease, reversed diabetes, reversed all these things that their doctor could not reverse. And people say, this is the first thing people say is, I don't want to go on a drastic diet. Right?
Right.
But yet they're willing to go under the knife and get angioplasty, get a stent,
bypass surgery. Right.
They're willing to get all these other things that are so radical and so drastic and so invasive, but for them to stop eating a piece of meat is unheard of. Oh, I could never do that. That's too drastic to not have a steak.
Right.
It's too drastic not to have a steak, but it's not drastic to cut yourself open and perform open heart surgery. That's not drastic to these people. So it's just the meat industry, the dairy industry has done such a good job in brainwashing us over the course of the years that we need this, we need that, and this is good for you, and the protein of this, and of course you can't live without meat because meat's a protein, and it's the foundation of the building blocks.
We get asked all the time about, where do you get your protein,
where do you get protein
from? That's one of our favorites.
Protein is everywhere, and people just don't understand. You can get protein out of anything. Apples have protein, corn has protein, lettuce, greens have protein. Greens have a ton of protein. Broccoli is loaded with protein. More protein than your body could possibly need is in broccoli. You don't need to have eggs. I switch the eggs for eggplant. Go towards the whole food, plant-based foods that aren't processed, because you can still have a plant-based diet that's totally processed. You can still go buy vegan cookies. You can still go buy vegan donuts. You can still go buy vegan crap.
Right, you can be an unhealthy vegan.
Right, you can buy fried chips that have no animal products in them, right? But those are all unhealthy. So it's a matter of getting whole foods and plant-based whole food diet. There's a ton of doctors out there to pick from. Read the books, do your research. I like to read them all, like you said, and pick bits and pieces out of each one, what works for me.
Right.
Okay? I'm an active runner. I run a lot.
What works for you might not work for somebody else. So you have to find something that works for you that you can stick to and that you can follow, and that you're not going to feel like you're not getting something that you really need.
Exactly. For me, I'm a runner, and I work all day as a chef. So for me, I need a lot of energy, a lot of energy foods. Everybody needs a lot of energy foods at the bottom line.
Right.
No matter what time I go to bed at night, I'm up at 5 a.m.
Right.
I might not get out of bed, but I'm awake.
Right.
And I can start reading emails, I can start doing things, I can start catching up on my day before the kids get up. So it's really great. Or I can choose to get another hour of sleep and go back to bed.
Right.
Which I do some mornings. Okay, I'm up, it's 4:30, it's 5 o'clock, I'm up, I'm out of bed. Let me go back and get another extra hour. But because I have all these high quality, energizing foods, I'm up. No matter if I go to bed at midnight or 9 p.m. or midnight or 1 a.m., I'm still up.
Right.
I'm still up. The latest I sleep in is 6? If it's 6:30 and I haven't woken up yet for the morning, that's a rare occasion.
Right.
And I never set an alarm except for there's something very specific that I need to be up. You don't either. We just get up. It's just, So that's my answer on how to make changes. Salt, oil, get rid of the fried foods, pick a plan. You can pick a plan that has massive success, like any of those doctors I've listed, and pick a plan that's going to work for you and be easy for you, and it's not calorie restrictive.
Start somewhere. You have to start somewhere. Start with one easy little thing, and then you can add upon that, which is what we've done over the years.
Which we've done. We've taken steps.
So you can't do everything all at once.
Some people can.
Yeah, some people can. It's harder to do it cold turkey, so do what works for you.
Excellent. I'm Chef Marcus Giuliano.
And Jamie.
Thanks for watching.
Press like, subscribe, pass it on.
Pass it on. Leave some comments. Thanks for watching.